What I remember most fondly from my time at UNSW is the time spent with friends, both on campus and off campus. We were there for 5.5 years, and the bonds we formed were very strong, and many of those friendships endure to this day. The other thing I remember are the examples of leadership displayed by some of my lecturers. They were good role models, and the approach to leadership taken by people like Jill McHugh, Jill Hunter, and Ros Croucher, as she's now known, informed my own leadership style.
I think of the university, I remember sitting around talking to my other student friends at Esme's, drinking cups of coffee, sitting on the library lawn in the sun. But also I remember the friends, I guess, I made, people who I'm still close with today. And I really remember those people who I love dearly now. And I also remember some of the lecturers and I guess the focus on social justice, which for me was really important and significant in my later career or now current career.
One of my clearest memories, other than waiting for the lifts to take us to class, was my torts lecturer who told us that caveat emptor literally meant empty cupboard. And to this day, whenever I hear caveat emptor, I immediately think, ooh, empty cupboard.
Number one, it wasn't high school, so you could pretty much do what you like. Secondly, right through to this day, most of my best friends came from my time in law school, and in fact, 2 of my best friends introduced me to my wife. So I remember fondly about New South Wales Law School, because without that, I probably wouldn't have met my wife.
After graduating from university, I worked for a brief time as tipstaff to a Supreme Court judge, and then I joined the Army as a legal officer. While I was in the Army, I deployed on operations to East Timor and Iraq, and during those deployments I advised on operations law and international law issues. I am now the Inspector General of the Australian Defence Force, an independent statutory office with responsibility for inquiry, assurance and complaint handling in defence.
I've worked quite a bit in Latin America. I think I've always had a passion for Latin America, which was identified early on, and that's part of UNSW, that's focus and learning on Spanish as well as Latin American history. So I've worked in Mexico, El Salvador and Honduras. And then I've also worked quite a bit at Kingsford Legal Centre, where I currently am. I'm now the Director of Kingsford Legal Centre and Associate Professor of the Faculty of Law.
Most of my working life has been on the business side of law. I became a management consultant. I worked for PwC in New York for a number of years. I then had my own consulting practice for 10 years, specialising in knowledge management. And during that time, I had the opportunity to teach a graduate law program at UNSW, which was just a fantastic experience. And these days, I'm Head of Advisory Services for the law firm group at Citi Private Bank, based in New York.
Well, I was a lifer at Mallisons for 27 years. I ended up being the global managing partner, and I put the China-Australia-European deal together for that firm. So that was a wonderful experience. So now I'm on my next challenge of heading up KPMG law in Australia and the region. So that's building out a leading, high-quality, integrated law firm capability within the KPMG firm.
Law degree has had a profound influence on my life and career. If I hadn't studied law, I wouldn't have formed the relationships or worked in the interesting and challenging environments that I have.
I've always wanted to use law to make things better for those who aren't treated fairly in our community, and try and hopefully think about how to incorporate feminist and race critiques within the way in which I practice law. Law has certainly been a really good, useful tool to help me analyse, to think critically, to be able to make a good argument.
I think the way that law was taught at New South, the Socratic method, really helped me in my management career. So I've got a strong view, lawyers can add so much value to transactions, but one of the things we can do is we can articulate really well a different insight or point, and every meeting I'm in where I do that well, I always think that's the legal training.
In a million years, I could never have imagined that I would have ended up doing what I do today. But there's no question that the practical learning, the practical way that I was taught at UNSW set me up to do what I ultimately have ended up doing, and for that I'm just so grateful.